Well, hello there. It's been a record week for this guy. A record week for the number of people who have asked me, "So, Peter, how come you're alone?" What they really want to say is, "What's wrong with you? Is there a secret that you've been hiding your whole life about is there something you want to talk about?" Like, "No." I'm alone because I am alone. There's no profound reason. Nothing wrong with me. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a robot. I'm not from planet 385 Cha Cha Cha. I'm not someone who has leprosy and is worried that if he throws his arm around a woman, it's going to fall off. It's not like the situation that Michael Jackson had in that video Thriller, where he says to his girlfriend, he says, "I want to tell you something. I'm not like other guys." And she says, "Oh, Michael, that's why I love you. That's what I love about you." And he says, "I have to, I'm different. I'm not like," and then he turns into a werewolf. That's not my story. I don't have problems like that. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'll nod my head this time. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you if you're alone. In fact, if you are alone, you probably like your own company. If you don't hate yourself and you're not totally codependent, being alone is just fine. It's just fun. When I see married people and they got like 2, 3 kids and they look really happy, it's like they're lucky. Like they're so lucky, they might as well have won the lottery in my books. That. It's like, and then I think about myself. I think, am I lucky? Well, I'm not even trying. If I meet somebody, great. If I don't, that's fine. But, married people with kids who are happy, they just look at you like, "Whoa, what's wrong with you, man? What's your problem? We're married and we have kids. So, what do you have?" It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to buy a bowling trophy for you and put your family name on it? Stewart. They're happy and they reproduced. They replaced themselves. Congratulations, you win. I don't know. Lucky. You're lucky. Not everybody falls in love. Not everybody's that lucky. For some people, lucky is a cheap draft beer that smells like horse pee. It's not my thing either. When I think to myself, am I lucky? Well, then I think of something Clint Eastwood said in the movie Dirty Harry. He had a guy pinned down and they didn't know how many bullets were left in the chamber of his gun. He's pointing it right at his head. And he says to him, "You have one question you should ask yourself. Do I feel lucky?" "Well, do ya, punk?" I think to myself, no, I don't feel lucky. Not in that department in life. Maybe in every other department in life. But maybe not that one. But that doesn't mean I'm not happy. I mean, how many unhappy people do you know that are in a relationship? A lot. But they don't break up with the person and leave, do they? No. It's like codependency. That's no good. But do you ever ask people, "Hey, how come you're so codependent? You don't even like that person, but you won't leave them." Why? No, probably because you don't need to know why. You don't need to know why other people are the way they are. Doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them because they're different than you. Why do I get the feeling that I'm one of the only people who likes their own company? Nah, you might like being me if you were me. I don't know. I had a friend one time, he said, "I gotta fall in love with somebody within the next 2 weeks, or I won't get anything for Christmas." Whoa, that's sad, man. I said to the guy, I said, "Hey, you know what? Well, I could buy you a Christmas present. That's fine." But I knew that wasn't the real issue. The real issue is people don't want to be alone. They can't face themselves, I guess. Or they're lucky and they meet the right person, you know. I remember in grade 3, our phys ed teacher taught us how to square dance because I was living in a small hick town, you know. He looks at me and he knew I was perplexed, like, why are we learning how to square dance and we could play floor hockey? He says to me, he says, Peter, how are you going to get a wife if you don't know how to square dance? I thought to myself, well, it's lucky this guy is not an English teacher. And then I thought to myself, how am I going to get a wife? Well, I'm only in grade 3. I'll probably just smile and somebody will like me. And then when our eyes meet that day in the library and we smile at each other, we get in touch with our inner loneliness, it'll just be the beginning. It'll just be the beginning. It'll be that awesome moment that turns into so much more than just that moment at the library. Well, you know. Anyways, I remember a guy once, he said to me, a total stranger, I was hanging out somewhere, and he's like, hey, you know what, Peter? What you got to do is pump out a lot of negative energy. Just be super negative, pump out negative energy everywhere, and women with really low self-esteem will just flock to you. Well, so I says to the guy, I says, well, I don't want women with low self-esteem. What do I want a woman with no self-esteem for? I just want to help her with that, you know? And he looked at me like, what? So you don't know anything, do you? I was like, well, what do you want with a woman who has no self-esteem? He says, well, what do you think? Are you totally clueless? You just want to meet the right person or something? I said, I thought about it. I said, yeah, I guess. Just meet the right person? That sounds pretty good to me, you know? Makes sense. Oh, the world is a desperate and twisted place. The world is like a forest, and all the most bent timber falls on me for some reason. That's partly why I'm alone. Because, you know, if you're happy being alone, you just solved about 2/3 of all the problems you could have in life. Just instantly like that, you know? It's true. But people look at you when you're alone, and they're looking at you like, whoa. Well, you know what? There's a cure for people like you know that? And you don't need to see a doctor, and you don't need a prescription. It's called plenty of fish. So now you know what to do. And you too don't have to be alone. Oh my goodness, man. What do you want me to do? Buy you a bowling trophy? Put your family's name on it? Huh? You don't think it's possible that I could enjoy being alone? Ah, well, okay, that's fine. But just so you know, there's nothing wrong with being alone. Doesn't make you a criminal. Doesn't make you a Russian spy. Nothing wrong with you. Maybe there's something right with you, okay? So, then people want to know, well, what do you do with all your time if you're alone? I feel like saying, well, you know, I buy squirt guns at the dollar store, you know, water guns. I paint them gray and I rob banks. I mean, what do you want me to say, man? Okay, I'll show you what I do. See, this is my apartment here. I'm just in my kitchen. This is just my kitchen, you see? It's all books, right? So that's what I do. I read books. It's another thing, like, people think there's something wrong with me because I read books. They're like, hey, don't you know you could just go online? I'm like, well, yeah, I know that. But it's okay to read books. I don't know. I think I'm living in a time where people are they don't look inward. They just don't look inward. It's all about external everything. People project everything. They do. They project everything. And now new research has even shown, for the first time in human history, the average person's IQ has gone down by 7 points. And I don't mean like previous generations of people. I mean the next generation, the young one that's coming up. IQ down 7 points. meaning that they can't process certain things, that they can't look inward. It's a totally external world for them, totally. There's no introvert in them. I could sit around all day just pondering life, reflecting on life, reading. And people feel so sorry for me. I'm so sorry for you. You're all alone. Holy smokes, man. Well, it's too bad you have to feel that way for me, because I don't feel that way. So have I explained myself yet? Probably not. Probably I never will. Anyways, it's a beautiful day outside. I think I better go out. Thanks for your time.